Hey, welcome back. And if you're new, I'm glad you're here. I'm not here to hype tools like the gurus do. I'm here to actually run through the tools that I use to generate my first music video. So let's dive in. Okay, we are in ChatGPT, and this is the prompt that I use to generate the lyrics. So here we go. Provide song lyrics for a playful, upbeat holiday song about cozy winter vibes at home, wearing socks pulled down just to cover the toes instead of slippers. Fun, confident tone with catchy ad libs, a repeating chorus, Snoopy Socks rock, and light humor. Christmas lights, fireplace warmth, candy cane energy, and dancing around the house. Wholesome, festive, and perfect for a fun music video. Here we go. Let's send the prompt, and then boom, we have our lyrics. So let's scroll, take a look, and that is it. Next step. Okay, let's get this song popping on suno.com. I'm on the home page here. I click create. And once you click create, it brings you to this canvas. I pasted in the lyrics. I told it what style of music I wanted, and then I click create. Okay. Then once you click create, it'll give you some options to choose from. Now, what I've done is I've saved off 3 different styles so I can give you a sense of the prompt that I use to generate the music. So, this very first one is from my first music video upload. So, my first video. This is the music that I generated here. So let me play that and then I'll show you the prompt that I used. Play a couple of seconds here. Yeah. It's cold outside, but my toes stay fly. Snoopy socks rock. Let's go. Walk around. Let's go. Okay, so the prompt that I used is EDM, electronic, dance, piano, airy, sexy female voice, up-tempo, dance party, catchy, heavy, synthesizer, and bass. So that's the prompt I used to generate that one. Let's take a look at another style of music. I will just play a couple of seconds here as well. Yeah. It's cold outside, but my toes stay fly. Snoopy socks rock. Let's go. Walking around the house, jingle lights glowing low. Fireplace popping, but my toes say no. Don't need. Okay, do I hear a remix? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so the prompt that I use for this one is party anthem, electronic dance pop, airy, sexy female voice, incorporate a few jingle bells. Okay, so let's look at another style here. I'll play a couple of seconds. Yeah, it's cold outside, but my toes stay fly. Snoopy socks rock. Let's go. Walking around. All right. So the prompt that I use for that one is hip hop and R&B crunk style, airy, sexy female voice incorporates a few Christmas jingle bells. Okay, so those are 3 different styles that got generated. One thing I also want to note is if you don't like any of the versions that are produced, you can click remix and that'll allow you to regenerate the music. We are rolling. Next step. Okay, homepage of design, time to have some fun with photos and animation. So typically I would click on new project, but for the purposes of this video, I've put together a demo file which will allow us to move through image to image creation and image to video creation. Okay, so the functionality that I'm using here is Instant Storyboard, which allows you to put a reference photo and prompt, okay, and then you would select the aspect ratio and then generate your results here. Okay, so the thing that you need to do is to make sure that you put your reference photos here, right? So in order to upload your reference photos, you just click here. It'll allow you to browse the files and you can either double click or drag it onto the canvas. So let's get started with our first example of going from one image to another. So let's take a look at this prompt. 2 photos I'm using. Okay, use the face of the woman in image 2 and swap her face with image 1. Do not show the chest and show painted long nails, have a tank top under the shirt and the chest of a woman. So let's see what that produced. Pretty cool, right? Okay. So now let's see what else we can do. So that's an example. Now the one just above that is also an example, right? So went from these reference photos, right? So just wanted to give that example as well. Now let's see when we're trying to go from image to video now. So instead of going from image to image, how do we go from image to video? So this is the reference photo. Let's look at the prompt. The prompt says, keep the same style and have her speed off through a futuristic town with neon lights, show her boots. Okay, so let's take a look at how that looks. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's look at another example. So you'll see here, I've got a photo. It looks pretty similar to this, right? So I basically use the chat editor to edit this photo. Can you tell the difference? So the difference is I added the 1-inch rounded white painted nails. That is the difference between those two. So I used the chat editor to do that. Okay, so the other thing I want to demonstrate too now we can animate her to lip sync. So before I show you the final result, let me just show you the steps. So here it's saying that it's selecting the face. So boom, got that. So it's done. Let's see. Okay. Then you click next. So you have to make sure that you're marking the face. The aspect ratio 16:9. Okay. It does take a few minutes, and then it's going to allow you to actually pick a voice, right? So you're going to be able to pick a voice. So let's say Brittany, for example.
Find a comfortable place to lie down.
Okay. So you can go through this entire library of voices, and then you enter exactly what you want the character to say. So I'm not going to do this here because I've already done this for us, but I just wanted to show you the steps that you would go through to get that done. So let's show you the result of the lip sync that was actually done. So let's check it out.
Happy New Year, YouTube family. Hype all year.
Okay, so we've got it. Next step. Okay, more animation, fun, and photos with Midjourney. Let's dive right on in. So here's an example of just putting in a text prompt to get a picture. So here I'm describing a character, right? Her hair, her fingernails, her complexion, her build, that she's in a luxury condo and that she's facing the camera. All of that to generate these 4 photos. So that's pretty cool, right? Just text to image. So that's an example of that. So let's see what happens when I use the same prompt, but I give it a reference photo, right? So same prompt, gave it the reference photo, and then here are the options that it comes up with. So that's pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's move on to animation now. So this is a video. So we're using a photo that we just got done generating, and we're now saying, okay, animate the photo. So let's go to the top and let's see how that turns out. So we're saying in the prompt, animate the fireplace frames, right? And have her move toward the camera to wave a friendly hello. So that's cool, right? Okay, let's see what else we can do. So in the comments, a lot of folks asked about the clothing changes. So let's just go through how you can actually achieve that. Let's just look at the prompt and how we achieve that. Pretty cool, right? So here's the prompt. This is the basic character prompt that I used throughout all of my animations. And then I placed my action. So I'm telling Midjourney the action I wanted to take, right? So that is exactly how I got this photo to come to life. So I gave it a reference photo, 16 by 9, and then I gave it the actions that I wanted to take. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's look at another example. Okay, so here again, same sort of background in terms of the character and then telling it what I want it to do. The difference with this one, however, is you're able to add in a start frame and an end frame. Okay, so I'm just going to click in here to give you a sense of how you can do that. So here, again, you have your canvas of reference photos that you can select from, and you can put in here your start frame. And once you put in an image in your start frame, it's going to give you the ability to put in your end frame. Okay? Exciting times. Next step. Okay, Lemon Slice Studio. This is where they make lip syncing as easy as 1, 2, and 3. So here is where I did the lip syncing for the entire music video in my first YouTube upload. Okay, so the first thing I did here was I selected the image from my model, right? And then I uploaded my audio for my music video. And then I simply clicked generate. I did not change any of the settings here. It's literally as simple as that. Okay, and with that, I'm going to play a little bit from here.
Rap, let's go. Walk around the house, jingle lights glowing low. Fireplace popping, but my toes say no. Don't need full socks, that heat too much, so I pull them down easy, just a little touch.
All right. Next step. Okay, we are now in CapCut. So this is where we assemble everything together. So we've got our audio track here that we created in Suno, and then we have all of our images that we put together in Design and also Midjourney, and then we also have the lip sync that we did in Lemon Slice. So basically what you're going to do is you've got to do a little bit of planning and figure out how you want the video to go. So basically this is a sequence, this is a timeline in the sequence. This is the audio track. And then a couple things I want to point out here too. So you'll see this text here, right? So Madam AI hype on the track. So this can easily be done by clicking on text here. The other thing I want to point out is these transitions that you see here. You're able to insert transitions by using the transition menu here. And then the other thing you can do is you can insert sound effects. So you just go to the audio menu and you're able to place in any sound effect that you want to off of this menu. Okay? If you're curious about this stuff too, stick around. I'm just getting started. I'm sure you'll get a kick out of my next video, AI bloopers, and what it's really like working with each tool.